Now we're getting into feeling it. Now you've seen the concept of swinging the circle, and then we've talked about seeing it. You could really see that the golf swing is a continuous motion around, away from the ball, through the ball, and all the way to the finish. It's one continuous motion. But within that circle, there are two power sources. I mean, the body has two major power sources, and when you blend those two together, then you get maximum power and maximum force into the back of the ball, and also maximum accuracy. So I want to talk about the two power sources in your body. And these are the great, most important things that you can learn today. One is the wrists. See, when you can set your wrists in a 90-degree setting motion, that's a huge, powerful position. To free the wrists up so that they can set, load up the power, and then also rotate, you need to have the club placed in your hands correctly. Now you can see on my glove here, I've drawn a red line, and right up here on your palm, on both of your palms, there's a little muscle right there. It's called the palmaris brevis, and it works like a sixth finger, so that when you grab anything, it will kind of hold on and lock in to something. If somebody's pulling it away, you'll grab it underneath that. Now what happens with golfers is they more than likely learn golf with the club head on the ground. They bend over and then they wrap their hands around the club. Well, when you bend this way and you put your hands on something, the club will go right up into the palm, and what will happen is the shaft will come right up over the top of that sixth finger, and now you can't make your wrist set. It's just not going to be able to set, see, when it's up there. So it has to be down in the fingers, and this pad up here has to be on top of the shaft. You want to lock it down in there, and when you do that, that allows those wrists to set, and also allows the wrist to rotate when you're going around in a circle. And then when you do swing, you should be able to have that nice setting motion on the backswing and on the forward swing. Now let's just take a hammer and show you what I mean. See, the wrists aren't made to do this way, see? The most powerful motion you can make is this motion. Up and down, a cracking motion, see? That's power. It's kind of a lot like driving a stake, you know, into a tent, or splitting a rail. See, when I can get in this position and come this way, see, those wrists are really going to supply a lot of force down into that peg. And in golf, it doesn't seem like, well, what do you mean? How do I get that motion into a circle? Well, that's what we're going to teach you. And that's why that blending of those two power sources really makes sense. Good way to show that is with the hockey stick again. You see, as you go back and you get into this position, the toes should be up and then the wrist set. That's that power position. So as you swing circular, they set. You can see the toes up, the toes to the hole. Then as I come through, the hands rotate and they'll come back up over here. See, they reset. And so when you can reset your hands at that 90-degree angle, coming back and coming through, then you get your maximum power. You get the wrist setting, you get that power into it, and then that's when you can really crack the ball. That's why the pros have really got that power when they come down into the ball, because they hold that angle and bang, they really crack it. I have another little tool to show you. Very interesting one. You can see this little training tool that I've created. When you set it up correctly, it makes a noise. Okay, I do it on the side. Can't hear it, right? So I make my swing back, and typical problem people have. Typical problem people have. You do it right. Perfect. See? Then I go through. If I want to hook it, or I slice it, but it should be there. See? Both sides, the wrist set, and as they set, they rotate, and then you have that power source that we really can bring into the ball. And now we're going to talk about how do we add in this to that setting of the wrist. Now the other power source is the body power source. That's when you can make a motion like this with your shoulders and your hips around your spine. Tremendous power. That's where the boxers get their tremendous leverage, see? It's not throwing their arm out. It's when they can come in this way and just turn this way, see? That's where that power source comes. The best illustration I can show you is with a discus thrower. Talk about rotary power. twisting back, the hips, the shoulders go back, right? Then there's an unwinding, and then the discus is released in a circle, in an arc, see? And that's the same move we want to have in golf. We want to be able to twist the body and let it come up and set into this powerful position, and then we unleash it back, and then we get that continuous motion around and through. How do we blend those together with this now? That's the key. Now, the CB ball, what I like to call this is when you swing this ball, this is really going to be your security blanket because this is going to give you the real feeling that you need, that you can trust when you go out on the golf course. And when you work with this ball, it will blend those two parts perfectly when you use it. And then you use it over and over again, and what they call that is you're practicing remembered feelings when you go out on the golf course. So, and then you also have this picture, see, of the tapes swinging. So you want to have the picture in your mind, and then you want to have that remembered feeling of when you worked with the ball, and then when you get up to play your shot, it all blends together and it's automatic because you've practiced the feelings and you've got the picture in your mind. So with the ball, when we swing this, it perfectly blends those together. Now look, see, as it touches me under my arm on both sides, what are my wrists doing? They're setting, they're resetting. What's the ball doing when it's flowing? It's circling. So this is how you really use it. You start up here, bend forward, and then if you want to do it, you want to come up on your toe a little bit here. That will get that shoulder back a little better, you know, because that's really key, is to get that twisting of the shoulders in that position. And then as you come through the ball, you just circle out a little bit to the right of your target. That's where the release, that's what they call releasing the club. It's taking that set position, releasing the energy, and you make it go out a little bit to the right of your target. Now, if you're a left-hander, you're going to go a little bit to the left of your target. And the pros call that swinging inside out. It's a term that's really misused, that people don't understand, because they think, well, I know that's out, and this is in, and what happens is they go in, and then they try to swing out, but they go over the top. So we're talking about a beautiful blending of these two motions, and if you swing out a little bit that way, you can see that as you come through, the hands come through, they go out, and they come right up over your forward shoulder into this pose position. I watch the pros all do this. See, that goes like that. See? It's not this motion like that. Now that second power source I showed you is like the discus. It's that winding up of the shoulders and the hips, getting coil, keeping those feet flat on the ground so that you can really supply a base for the circling of the club. That's what it's all about. And that circle motion is that as you start your backswing, you want to start the shoulders coiling around your spine, the right hip and the shoulder coming back, and that coiling motion really sets up that swing so that you can load those wrists, see? And the key is, a lot of people, when they get down to the ball, they'll bring the club up, see? And then as soon as that shoulder goes up, they lose all that circular coil and all of that power. This type of emotion. I see that all the time when I'm teaching golfers. So we really want this rotational motion of the shoulders and the hips, and the feet stay nice and flat on the ground, so there's no up and down motion in the swing. It's all rotary. And there's really a wonderful way to show that, and it's with a drill that comes from a teacher in the early 1900s called John Duncan Dunn. And what he did is, and you might even want to try this at home. You want to try it at home when you get home. But get in front of a mirror and you stand with your feet just shoulder width apart. Bend forward just a little bit. Let your arms hang. And then what you do is you just look behind you, straight behind you, like this. And then when you look this way, you can see what's happened to my shoulders and my hips. My shoulders have turned back 90 degrees, my hips have come about 45, and then from this position, just look down at the ball, and then what I like to have people do is just simply bring your hands up in this position where you would in golf, and boy, you can really feel that incredible power position. Most people have never felt this position in order to come back into the ball. And you'll see this on the tour You just watch them on Sunday. Every one of those great players, they have that shoulder back at that 90 degrees, all the way back, and they've got this position. See, now they can uncoil. You can uncoil, because the body needs to start going back, coiling, and you uncoil on the way through, because the body works a lot slower than the hands. So you have to give a little lead, starting with this twist and this twist, and then as the hands set and go through, you can just hear it cracking. And that's what we want you to feel. We want you to feel that cracking motion as you come around and through. One more exercise, and this is from John Duncan Dunn's older brother, Seymour Dunn. And this is a great exercise to show you the blending of the two components. So what you do is you take your stance and you bring the club up on your shoulder. Now, what's happened to my wrist? 90 degree set, perfect, right? Now what I do is I rotate my hips and my shoulder back and then simply raise it up. See, that's perfect position in it. Here, raise it up. Now as I come through, it comes around and then it comes right back on this shoulder. So you can really see that this is a great little drill to practice to feel the position. Now from here, you're really in a great position to make that circle and just crack it.